Live from the factory floor, it's Ask an Engineer.
Alert, alert, it is time for a new show. Welcome to Ask Engineer. You might be thinking, am I watching the right show? Because it looks like everything's totally different. You're right, we've moved to a different part of the Adafruit factory.
Yeah.
We are still in a factory, however. Now we're more factory-esque.
We're going to continue to move the show every so often to keep it fresh. Yeah, before we
Makeover.
were in inventory, and now we're in fabrication.
That's right, it's very exciting. We recently redid this area, so it's pretty cool. You can even see my desk, which is over there.
There's a,
That's my
you also have
workbench.
another workbench over there.
This is my workbench, and then my desk where I make all the trouble over there. So you can see that. And behind me, you can see a little bit of equipment. Well, we're going to do another show where we actually give a more detailed tour.
Yep.
Hold on, we'll announce when it's ready. We want to really show off what we got
We've been
here.
playing with like 360 cameras and all that, getting ready for showing more parts of Adafruit.
Yeah.
So the thing that fuels that is all sorts of your purchases. So yeah, we're going without a net here. There's no loans or venture capital. So want to just jump into the show?
Yeah, let's just do this thing.
Okay, on tonight's show, the code is Tower. 10% off all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. That gets you 10% off on everything except for gift certificates and software. Show and Tell, Lady Ada will talk about who was on the Show and Tell, what they showed and shared. Pack the Mailbag's gonna stop by.
Welcome back, Packet.
Help Wanted, Adafruit Jobs Board is the best place online for makers to post their skills and companies to find cool makers. Time Travel, a look back in the world of science, engineering, history, hackers, and more. 3D printing, a great video from Noah and Pager, and a Time Lapse Tuesday. New products, we have a ton. We're gonna answer your questions. We're gonna have a trivia question, all that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer.
Yay!
Alrighty.
Yeah, we had an exciting show last week with Star, but we have a lot to catch
with
up on.
Circuit Classics that she's
so
teamed
cool.
up with Forrest Mims on our Flickr account. You can see the Circuit Classics and Star, and you and Star.
Yeah.
So if you go to flickr.com/Adafruit.
Not that you should stop watching this video, but after you're done watching this video, please go and watch it, because it's an awesome.
People could be watching this not live.
Yeah. After you're done with this, then go watch that too.
Yeah.
Or watch both in two screen, whatever. It's an awesome video. I just want to point that out, because Star is just amazing, and I love to promote her.
Okay. So paying some bills. $200 or more, we have free UPS to ground in the continental US and free half-size Perma-Proto.
The most handy freebie.
Yeah, and then same day, if you're in Manhattan, when you check out before 11 a.m., you can see if your zip code is eligible, and we offer same day, just like the Amazons.
We don't yet have drone delivery, but the moment we can, we're going to do it.
Yeah, we're going to do it. And then just programming note, this is Ask an Engineer every Wednesday at 8 p.m. And Show and Tell just happened, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, where people around the world show their projects. During the week, we do Desk of Lady Ada. We did one yesterday. We usually do these Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's our new series. And we'll be extending the Desk of Lady Ada to your desk at home and also your desk over here.
Oh my goodness, could there possibly be two desks of Lady
Yeah.
Adas? Yes, it's possible. We'll do an at-work edition, at-home edition. We're going to do all sorts of cool stuff, Vines and Instagrams and 3D videos.
Yep.
We hacked your 3D camera last night. That was
Yeah,
cool.
it was neat. I use a Ricoh Theta S, and you can run a PHP script and turn off the volume. It'd be nice if that was just a feature, but instead you can hack your camera. So.
Yeah, but like...
No, it's neat. I'd rather do that.
There's all these settings, maybe
Yeah.
instead of having 8,000 buttons in a menu, because there's no display on it.
Yeah. So
it's interesting, cameras don't have displays anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways.
So Show and Tell. Every week, people around the world show and share their projects. Lady Ada, what and who and where and when happened this week?
I would love to tell you all about that. We had an exciting show and tell, also our first show and tell in this new location. We had Tony DeCola from Adafruit Northwest, fan favorite, who is showing off some work that he's been doing. He's currently working on finishing a port of Fermata for Circuit Playground. Circuit Playground is our new educational board that's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks. No ETA, but we're working on it. And he's porting Fermata, which is a library that allows you to basically control, read, and write all the sensors and hardware without reprogramming the Arduino chip on board. You instead use something like Python or Johnny 5 or Node or whatever, and you tunnel messages over serial. So he's basically making a version of Fermata that supports all of the hardware for the Circuit Playground. And then on Friday, he's going to be doing a live Pi Day stream. So if you have not signed up, subscribe to our Twitch feed, please do, because it does these awesome in-depth Raspberry Pi tutorials. So check them out. This Friday he's going to be doing Raspberry Pi and Bluetooth Low Energy. Kind of exciting. Noe showed up. Pedro's under the weather today, but Noe is showing off this week's project, we'll also show the video for, which is a RFID/NFC tag, little miniature tag that can be 3D printed into a ring. So if you can buy your own all-enclosed RFID ring, or you could 3D print your own for a couple of cents and then put this tag in. So they made two versions, one resin printed, one PLA printed, and it's parametric. So you just measure your finger diameter. It's actually the perfect situation. You tell it what diameter finger you have, and it will resize, and you can 3D print it. And then we had Richard come back with a couple of projects. One, he's going to be making RFID rings for the entire hackerspace. Everybody wants them, so that's cool. He sent out his LED Diva boards to Osh Park and got them back. Turned out that there was some bridges that he didn't quite understand how to fix, but he's cut them with a knife, and he's going to maybe adjust his EagleCAD layout so he doesn't get that when he manufactures boards. And then he showed off a video of an LED sculpture that he helped the artist with some LEDs that is in art gallery that's going to be out soon. Isaac came back. He's a fellow who has a project he's been showing off, his thermometer fever tracker with a Raspberry Pi A plus a DS18B20 temperature sensor probe. Has a display so it tracks temperature. And in the next couple of weeks, he's going to be working with his assistant, Tom, to take the temperature data and graph it, add it to Adafruit IO, and then maybe even add a NeoPixel ring for feedback. Roberto gave us an update for some software that he's doing at work. He's using Jenkins at work for continuous integration, and so he wants to maybe use something like one of these tower lights or NeoPixels to light up and alert the software engineers when the build fails. So he's like, perfect timing for me. I'm going to get one of these towers and do that up. And then C. Scott played Maker Charades. He had a board which used a 79L10, a negative 10 volt voltage regulator, and it turns out you can't actually get those chips anymore. It's in the data sheet, but you can't actually buy them. So instead what he did is he made a little adapter board that you can solder into a TO92 slot, but uses an LM335 adjustable negative voltage regulator and a resistor divider, so he basically faked out the 10 volts. And then he said he's going to respin the board, so the next version doesn't use that rare LM79L10. And also he was debugging a module project, and he spent hours and hours on the code. Turns out he forgot to solder one of the solder joints. It happens to the best of us, but a good reminder to always check all your solder before you check your firmware.
Okay, all participants on the show and tell get a seen on the show and tell sticker. All they have to do is email support@adafruit.com, and we send them out a sticker, and they put that on their projects.
They're cool.
Yeah, it's neat, and some people have collected many over time. And you can see the projects growing with all sorts of show and tell stickers all over.
There was an interview that went live this week, and they were talking about, in the interview, I talked about how we get people to be comfortable sharing their project, because it's really, it can be painful to share projects because you're showing yourself, you're showing what you have worked on, and it's very personal. But getting a sticker, everyone always loves getting stickers.
Yeah, one of the things that we found that we've been doing show and tell, I think it's 4 years now. One of the things that we found is if you don't make a safe place online for people to share their projects, like people aren't going to make crappy comments in a chat, and they're not going to spend time in comments saying, "Oh, like you don't know what
I would
you're
have done
doing."
this better.
Yeah,
And this is
if you don't
wrong.
build a safe place, people won't share their projects, and then people complain, "Oh, it'd be great if we had all sorts of different people in tech." And so
Nobody's doing anything.
Yeah.
Nobody's interested
So-
in this electronics stuff.
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why we have like a Be Excellent policy. And the show and tell every single week is a place where you can be sure that you'll be with a group of people that really like to see projects. And you know, we were all beginner ones. Everyone was, and there is no such thing as a born expert.
You actually wrote a really good article a while ago for either Make or Adafruit, I remember, called called The Beginner's Mind, and he said that the best time is when you're a beginner because all the possibilities are available.
Yeah, you don't know any better. Experts are limited. They know pretty much the only thing that you can possibly do sometimes. Where beginners, they're trying lots of different things and they're experimenting.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's fun to not know what you're doing. And it's also fun to share that. Okay, if you want to be in the show and tell, all you have to do is go to google.com/plus Adafruit and just look for the link somewhere around 7:30 p.m. Eastern time.
We post a link, click it, make sure you have Chrome and everything, all the good stuff, get your mic and video set up, and we would love to see you join in.
Yeah. Okay. Mailbag. People send us letters.
Packet, the mailbag.
Yeah. So we read these to the whole company every week. When you send us nice letters, we do read them, and we have it on the blog. This is from William. Not a suggestion, just some common praise. When I was growing up, there was Radio Shack, of course, and Heathkit, and amazing stuff I could not purchase, but only dream about. I find myself looking at your website every once in a while just because I want to purchase something and support your efforts, not because I need anything specific. I'm currently contemplating some NeoPixels for the holidays and perhaps a quadcopter for Christmas. Keep up the great work. Superior products, so 5.25 volt, 2 amp power supply. Who would think about the cables? Decent
I did.
prices, a learning system that helps the whole industry, not just your loyal customers. Thank you so much, William. All right, moving right along. Adafruit Jobs Board. This is where people around the world can post their skills because they want to work for a cool company or find cool people, and companies post a job opening, and they know that it's not going to be filled with spam, and it's
They're going to get really qualified people too.
So we played Matchmaker for the last couple of years with Jobs Board. So this is a freelance EE contributor position with All About Circuits. All About Circuits is currently looking for contributors to submit content. We love industry news, opinion pieces, reviews, projects, and technical articles. You may set your own deadlines and contribute as much or as little as you like. Our designers take care of pictures and schematics. We pay competitive rates and regular bonuses increases. Send our resume to get started.
This is awesome. You want to build projects, all right?
Yeah.
This is a website that will actually pay you to do so.
Yeah, this is a good one.
That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, especially all of y'all who have opinions or want to share what you're doing. If you already have a blog, this is a great way to maybe take what you're already doing and turn it into a living. And I like that they'll do the diagrams and schematics for you. That's like the hardest part. So if they'll do that, then
okay.
Good gig.
Some news. We have a new status site. So if you go to status.adafruit.com, I'll show you right here, Lady Ada, on this computer.
Okay.
So
yeah, this is very, 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 very new, and it's a little beta. It's not completely automated yet.
So
we will be working on that.
Yeah. So status.adafruit.com is the popular pages that you see on. It's powered by statuspage.io. And what we've done is we're tying in all the things. So if the shop is up, learn, forms, blog, IO, because we have MQTT that people need to know about if it's up or down, all sorts of things. So it was a request. We've been working on the best way to do this, so we're trying this out. So
this
you
is
can
part
subscribe.
of a very long process in which we've been separating out. We have now accounts, and we have IO, and the blog and forums. And also, it's tough to tell. Sometimes you're like, oh, is Learn being slow, or is it down? Well, instead of tweeting us, you can just check the status page.
Yeah, and we have a Twitter account.
And Adafruit Status is a Twitter account. You can subscribe to that as well.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, the Dronies are back. So last year we announced the Dronies. It's our video contest where you just submit a video that was shot with the drone, and you could win. We pushed the contest to this year because the rules changed with like drones, and the FAA decided things. So we wanted to make sure that there wasn't anything that we were asking people to do that might not be legal. Now it seems like it's pretty resolved, and people can have drones, or there's more drones that are able to film stuff. It's more clear about the locations. People have to register their drones. It looks like it's working out. So anyways, this is Dronies. This is what you could win. And all you have to do is submit a link to a video. You could even be nominating someone else's, but that's what we're doing. It's fun because we want to show the artistic side of drones. So that's the Dronies. Next up, some Arduino news that has nothing to do with the hardware that we make here.
I know.
This is interesting.
Although, we finished the Arduino Micro and we're wrapping up the Arduino
the micros,
starter kit.
yeah, it's out. So this is interesting.
Okay.
If you go and look at America's Greatest Makers, there's a Twitter account, there's a web page, there's a site, there's Facebook stuff. This is a really big show by Mark Burnett.
Yeah, it's going to be on TBS.
On TBS, I believe April it launches, and Massimo, the CEO of Arduino, is a judge with Shaquille O'Neal.
So cool.
And Kenny Smith.
And Mayim Bialik.
Yeah, and she's known for, there was a show Blossom in the past, but there was also Big Bang Theory.
The Big Bang Theory, yeah.
So this is like an all-star cast, and they did an excellent nod towards probably the most well-known maker out there, which is Massimo, the CEO of Arduino.
And just a hint for anybody who wants to enter this competition, use a genuine Arduino. You'll probably get some extra points from it.
Yeah, and what'll be neat is they're going to be talking about Arduinos, and the Arduinos that Massimo has are made here in the USA, right here at Adafruit.
Yay.
So that's kind of neat.
So it's a big tying together. So Americans' Greatest Makers
Yeah.
using American-made maker technology. But we're going to definitely watch this show. I'm sure many months ago they probably asked me to judge, and I'm like, I can't run a company at like Adafruit and also judge. And I hate traveling, but it'll be a great show, and I'll watch it. And we'll report about it.
All right, time travel. Look back in the world, hackers, makers, artists, and engineers. This week is kind of neat. You'll like this one. So, did you know in 1886, Charles Martin Hall produced the first samples of man-made aluminum? After several years of intense work, he was assisted in this project by his older sister, Julia Brainerd Hall. So he was trying to get aluminum for a while. It wasn't really successful, trying to smelt it using carbon and charcoal and potassium chlorate. And then he attempted to improve the electrolytic methods previously established by investigating cheaper materials to produce aluminum chloride. And again, when he was unsuccessful. So eventually he got to it.
I like how it says he just didn't succeed. He was probably tried everything.
Yeah, and eventually he needed money, and he hooked up with someone, and they turned into Alcoa, which is one
Really?
of the,
Oh, so he actually found Alcoa.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
Charles Martin Hall.
Okay,
And
I kind of like it when it's just like the company that it was invented was the company that's still around. Like they're still the largest American aluminum smelter.
Yeah. Okay. Big news this week. Right at the end of last week, a new Collins Lab hit. And here we go. This is SMT. This is Collins Lab.
Sweet.
Enjoy.
When building electronics by hand, we usually use through-hole components. These are relatively large and easy to handle. But when a machine builds electronics, it uses surface mount components. At first glance, these may seem a bit unmanageable to the human hand, but with a little patience and magnification, you too can work like a machine. SMD, or surface mount devices, can be a bit tricky to solder, but doing so will allow you to use a lot of technology that's not available in through-hole packages. You can also save quite a bit of space on board design. So the most obvious variable we're dealing with here is size. Common passive components like resistors and capacitors come in a range of sizes from the relatively large 1206 spec on down to the blink and you might miss it 0402 size, and even smaller. Surface mount ICs come in a variety of packages, like this here SOIC chip, or this QFP chip, or even this little SOT transistor. These all have protruding leads, but you'll also find IC packages which only expose flat contacts, like this QFN chip. These can actually be a bit easier to handle as they have no pins to bend accidentally. So how do we get these little things soldered securely to a PCB? Well, first we need the right tools for the job. A good iron with a fine point tip and a sponge or mesh for cleaning it. Fine point tweezers, I like to have both angled and straight variants. A magnifier loop or a visor. Solder wick, solder sucker, And of course, solder. Thin solder with a 0.02 inch diameter is preferable. I find most PCB vices a bit too shaky and unstable for SMD soldering. So to keep my board in place while working, I can use some painter's tape to secure it to the tabletop. We'll start with the smallest parts and work our way up. So resistors come first. To secure the part to the board, I'll first tin one pad and using tweezers, gently slide the resistor into place and tack it down. Now I can solder the remaining pad and then secure that first one with a bit more solder as needed. I'll use this same basic process for the rest of my two-terminal components. When soldering ICs with many small pins, alignment is crucial. First, get the basic orientation of the IC using the indicator dot on top. Then, anchor the first pin to the board with just a little bit of solder. Now I can easily make fine adjustments to the chip's position while re-wetting that anchor point. And once it's nicely squared up, I'll solder the pin diagonally opposite that first one to finalize the position. For the remaining pins, your first instinct may be to avoid bridging. That's a good instinct, but we'll start by doing exactly that. By gently dragging the iron and soldering all the way across. Because the board is coated with solder mask, we can easily remove the excess solder. I like to use a solder sucker for this. Just prime the pump, heat the solder, and remove. Voila. But you could also use thin solder wick. Just lay the wick across the pins and heat it with the side of the iron tip until all of the excess is pulled off of the board. Once all the pins are cleaned up, I can check for any tiny remaining bridges using my magnifier. The same strategy applies to chips with pins on all four sides. Just be sure to pay close attention to pin-to-pad alignment on all four of those sides. Soldering a chip with no protruding leads may seem a bit daunting at first, but again, the same basic approach applies here. The main difference is that anchoring that first pin may be a bit more challenging. Once those smaller components are finished, soldering the larger parts like jacks and switches is a relative walk in the park. Okay, everything appears to be in order on my handmade Metro here. Now I'll just apply power and see that it does in fact work, as expected. I'm not surprised. I don't make mistakes. After you get accustomed to the scale of surface mount soldering, the process is pretty straightforward. Just be sure to use the right tools, a steady hand, and have patience. It's actually quite relaxing.
Alrighty.
Epic video.
Yeah, okay, so that's the latest Collins Lab. And
He had one about soldering, and then I was
Yeah.
like, let's do surface mount soldering.
Yeah.
And actually what's cool is he got to cover everything from just resistors all the way up to QFNs. I mean, like he learned doing it as he learned to do the videos. So yeah, you can do it.
Okay.
Good tools.
Next up, moving right along, 3D printing. So tomorrow's 3D Hangouts, don't forget, with Noah and Pedro. That's tomorrow. And we have a video and then a cute time-lapse Tuesday. But let's do the video first. This is RFID rings.
Take it away.
Pink.
In this project, we're embedding an RFID tag into a 3D printed ring. So this is a micro RFID NFC tag. It's really small and flexible enough to be embedded into all sorts of objects. It features an NTA G203 chip plus antenna and contains 144 bytes of read-write memory. It works with almost any NFC-capable tablet and has secure 8-byte user ID. Although we carry NFC RFID rings in the shop, it's much more cost-effective to 3D print one, and you can also customize it to any size or shape. We put together a simple design in Autodesk Fusion 360 and added a curved slit in the center of the bridge so it can be embedded into the tag. The source file is free to download so you can customize it to fit your fingers. We added Verneuil patterned cutouts to the shank of the ring to give it a really stylish look. Now to get the intricate details, we used the Ember DLP SLA resin-based 3D printer from Autodesk. We also made a simple version for FDM machines that print with minimal support material. These fine-tipped tweezers help insert the tag into the slot, and we made sure to orient the chip so that it's facing the head of the ring. NFC Tools is an Android app that can be used to write data to the tag. You can write contact information, trigger actions like loading a website or application, and you can even assign custom tasks. For this demo, we thought it'd be cool to fire up a video on YouTube. And that's it. It's a really easy way to embed RFID tags into 3D printed things. So what creative ideas do you have for RFID tags? You can let us know in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more projects from Adafruit.
Okay, and we have one more video this week. This is the mini wrench time lapse.
Oh, cute. Amazing.
Yeah, I remember when the most futuristic thing, when they said 3D printers are coming, it's like the transporter or the
can make a
replicator,
yeah.
and they're like, well, you could print a wrench.
Well, what's
But
funny,
now, like, you can just do it.
well, like 10 years ago, I remember this was like one of like the most insane demos for like the $20,000 or more 3D
Yeah.
printers. It was, or maybe it was $50,000 3D printers. Like you could build like a chain with links, and now it's like everybody gets a printer bought simple. And it's like the first project you
Yeah.
do. So
Wrench.
it's pretty cool that, yeah, like inner working parts.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
Okay.
Nice
All
wrench,
right.
too.
Before we get on to new products later, at Dakota's Tower, 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 all the way up to
Tower of
11:59
Power.
p.m. tonight, you get 10% off.
including on the towers.
Yeah. All right, it's new product time.
Oh, wow. It's already.
Yeah, we got a bunch, so.
I know. I'm ready to rock it out.
Okay, new products.
New.
Yeah.
New.
Okay, so we have the Ultimaker 2.
Plus.
That's right.
What's new about it? I have no idea because I didn't read the copy because it went in the store just like an hour ago.
Yeah.
But the Ultimaker now, we have the 2 Plus. It's better, probably like better resolution. I think maybe even a larger size or something. Check out the specs. The Ultimaker is the one of the nicest 3D printers on the market.
Yeah.
It has consistently ultra high quality prints, but you can also change out the nozzle if you want to have it go faster. But it's like the highest precision prints we've seen, other than a resin printer, always come from an Ultimaker. So we're glad to be selling it. So check it out. It's a super fine printer. You know, it's not the least expensive printer. It's not the most open source printer, but I think it's like, you know, the highest quality printer in that price zone. So
Yeah.
if you're looking for a good printer, check it out.
Okay, a few things about it. Build plate.
Has a heated
is
build
heated.
plate, glass,
Yep.
assisted leveling processed, uses fused filament, so you know, PLA and all that good stuff. There is a good quality print head. It has an integrated platinum sensor, geared feed. It can do 24 cubic millimeters a second. Comes with, I guess, a couple different nozzles.
Yeah.
It takes a minute to heat up. Can do PLA, ABS, or CPE. You can standalone 3D print from an SD card or tethered. It comes with all sorts of stuff. We use it with Cura. It's all good stuff.
So, selected by our experts. We check out all the printers. The ones we stock are the ones that we think are the best.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is a nice one. Really beautiful too.
Alrighty, next up. What's this thing?
This is from Particle, and this is the Particle Photon programming shield. So, you know, the Electron it probably works with the Electron as well, but the Particle Photon and Core use an STM32 processor as the main processor. The original, I can't forget the name. The Particle Photon, the Particle Core. The Core had a CC3000 STM32 processor. The Photon has a module with the STM32 built in. But either way, you probably are like, well, maybe I don't want to use the IDE to program. You don't use the cloud-based IDE. You want to program it directly. Well, in that case, you might want to use the programming shield. So the programming shield, you can see over there. You plug in your Particle Core Photon, and then down here there's an FTDI chip. It's an FT2232, which is kind of like the near standard for JTAG interfacing with a like an STM processor. There's like OpenOCD support and all that good stuff. So basically it gives you debugging and programming support. So if you want to like raw program the chip or debug with it, the FT2232 is supported by like kind of all the tools that you'd want, all the open source tools. And so this lets you go in and hack and mod the core, especially if you're a more advanced user and you don't want to use the Arduino IDE and you want to write code natively. You can do so. You can sign up with Broadcom, get access to the APIs, and then write the code raw if you don't want to have to deal with the cloud. So some people ask for that capability, and this gives you that capability.
Okay. Next up, we have a video of all of the NeoPixel shields.
So these are, we're continuing on our RGBW quest.
Yeah. So
we have historically had RGB NeoPixels, then you know and love them, and we have a shield with 8x5 40 NeoPixels on it. It's a lovely little shield that fits on an Arduino. And we've updated it now to also come in 3 other versions with RGBW NeoPixels, and our NeoPixel library supports RGBW. And what's neat is you actually have 4 LEDs per pixel: red, green, blue, and then white. And for people who are really picky about their white LEDs, they're like, well, you know, what is the color temperature? Well, that's why we have 3 different versions, because we've got cold temperature LEDs, which I think is like 6,000. We have neutral, which I think is about 3,500, and warm, which is about like 2,000 or something. You can check the exact product specs to see the approximate Kelvin temperature. But basically what you get is, and I can show this on
It's got these cool videos, but we also have live demos. So
I have both.
Let's do the live demos.
So, yeah, thank you. So hold on, let me just make a little bit of space here. There's just a lot of LEDs today. So this is the overhead, and this. Oh, no
What
overhead.
happened?
I don't know.
We lost overhead.
We lost overhead.
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, it's okay. We can go back to the video.
Yeah.
Or you
Yeah. Well, if you
don't
could-
need the video.
If you can unplug and plug that back in, we'll try and guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Live
right.
demo.
Yeah. Well, we do have some photos anyway.
But we have great. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
why I always
so-
have both. So this just shows RGB, and then this is the. If you give it a second. So. Yeah, this one is the warm white LEDs, so it's these warm white LEDs. The nice thing is it looks basically identical to the classic NeoPixel Shield. It just has an extra LED in it.
Try this again.
Oh no, it took only a photo, but then,
No.
no. All right, well,
Doesn't like it.
video is fine.
Yeah. we'll just
Okay,
do this.
that's cool. So can you go to the next photo?
Yeah. Did you want to show any of the?
Yeah, we'll just keep going and show them all. So this is just the pieces. You get headers and stacking headers and stuff. And then this next photo shows the warm white LEDs. The RGB section is the same for all of them, but it's nice and warm. And then this one shows the neutral LEDs. So these LEDs are not warm, not cold. They're kind of in between. And here's showing like the cool. So if you compare that with warm is much yellower, neutral is cooler, it's kind of in between. And then we also have, can you go to the next one? Cool. And this is like daylight, it's like fluorescent or cold daylight. It's very bluish white LEDs. And I couldn't really decide like, which one to get. Should I only carry one? We ended up just making one of sort of a little bit of each of them. So all the available ones are used. So pick which one you want. They all use the same library. You get to have whatever color temperature. And yeah, you basically get this beautiful white, because when you combine red, green, and blue LEDs, you never quite get a true white color. Okay, so it's the NeoPixel Shield.
All right. And then you got the matrix.
And then not one to stop at just 5x8 LEDs. We also updated the 8x8 LED matrices. So same thing. You basically have 64 LEDs, and you can chain these, of course, and have a grid, and they tile nicely if you want to have like a gridded display of some sort with RGBW LEDs. Go for it. This also is available in cool, 600 degree Kelvin, neutral. I like how we're in space or something. Like this is the end of 2001 Space Odyssey or something. It's full of RGBW stars. So you have cool over there, neutral and warm, and then of course the classic. It is a little more expensive for the RGBW, so if you don't need them, like you don't have to pick them up. But yeah, you can have these beautiful LED effects. And let's just go quickly through them.
Sure.
Just check it out. So this is 8x8 LEDs. It's NeoPixel. It works with the NeoPixel library we have. RGB, and then warm white.
Yeah. What I can do is
You just skip
go
to the next one.
ones, since it's
And this is going to be neutral. And then on the final video, the same RGB, and then cool. So
yeah.
3 different options.
Okay. And then we have some rings.
Yes, I forgot these last time. I did the 12, 16, and 12, 16, 24 LED rings, but I forgot to do the 60 LED quarter rings. So this lovely face, you can see. I don't even have these demos, so we'll just show the photos. But these come in. You can make like a really cool clock. Like you can see that the white LEDs are really, really bright, and they shine out compared to the RGB LED section. And what happens is you get these in quarter pieces and you solder them together. So you can actually make like a wavy sinusoid if you want. But yeah, you can have like cool white. And I think this would be neat for clocks. There's 60 LEDs in the full ring. So when it's 15 per segment, solder 4 of them together, you get 60 LEDs. So a gigantic ring. Oh, hey, it's running, whatever you did. Magic.
Somehow, somewhere.
Yeah. So now you can see these live. They do the thing, and then you can see they're all white, but slightly different color temperature. So there you go. This one's yellower, colder, warmer. Okay, that's the RGBW. And that's it. We did all the products are now RGBW.
Okay. And is that permanent? Are you going to have that as part of the lineup? Like,
Yeah, from now on, if we ever make anything with NeoPixel, I will also make RGBW versions.
okay.
Because I think it's cool, especially if you're wanting to do something with lighting. Because we had some projects where it's like we made like a ring light, and it's cool if you want to have color effects, but if you want to have, something for photography, or you want to have, some illumination, the white segment of the LEDs is definitely like the way to go, instead of trying to combine red, green, and blue together.
Gotcha. Do you know the wattage of the pixels?
Well, there's the lumens, but I don't remember. You can check the data sheet. Bright. I mean, like they're incredibly bright. If I had to super guess, it would be, about 6,000 millicandela total, which is pretty bright.
Yeah.
Not that a lot of LEDs lie about the color, the brightness. So when you're comparing to like, people are like, oh, but on eBay I can get like 50,000 millicandela LEDs. They're not really. They lie. It's really like 5,000.
Are we going to have feather NeoPixels? Interweaving some questions.
That's
here.
a good question. Yeah. So I'll tell you the deal. So here's the story of NeoPixels. So NeoPixels actually comprise multiple different companies that manufacture the LEDs. And historically, we've used the World Semi WS2812 and 111, 2811 and 2812B and 12S. And those were fine and good, except that they only make RGB LEDs, so the classic LEDs that NeoPixels that you know and love. And this is why, by the way, we don't go by the part number, because it's just whatever's compatible with NeoPixel. And then another company came out with RGBW, same size, same basically pin compatible, but also doesn't have, it's a little bit, they reflow a little bit nicer as well. And so we use those now. That's the SK6812. And the SK6812 is also available in RGBW. The same company also manufactures a 3.5 by 3.5 millimeter NeoPixel LED, which we call the Mini NeoPixel. And it's just called the SK6812 Mini. I mean, it's not a very technical name. That's the part number. And that part number is available in RGB. It is not yet available in RGBW. So to answer your question, I'm getting there. If and when we get NeoPixels available in the 3.5 millimeter by 3.5 millimeter size with RGBW, I will make a feather NeoPixel one, because it'll just be a drop-in replacement. Okay. As is, I don't want to make two versions, one that's bigger, chunky LEDs and one that's thinner LEDs. So it's a little bit of a trade-off. But for other items, like strips, we definitely have available in RGBW.
Okay. All right.
Quite a story.
Careful what you ask.
This is what I live all day.
Yeah.
Is just
Okay.
like LED.
We got more stuff going on.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, hydration break. So this is a USB hub, and this is a very similar to a USB hub we already have in the shop. This USB hub. Oh, can you go back too?
You want to go back?
Yeah, because that's the photo. This hub, it's actually a 4-port hub, but instead of having the 4th port be like a USB, it's Ethernet. There's an Ethernet chip inside of it. So you basically get 3 USB ports plus Ethernet. And the chip inside is the AX8812 or something, I don't remember the exact part number. It's like the most universally supported Ethernet chip, and it's actually pretty fast too. It's not gigabit, but I think I got like, it's 100 megabit for sure, because I got like a 10 megabyte per second transfer rates on it, or more at 15 megabyte. It can do 10100, I think, and then you look at the data sheet for the chip if you want to know exact data rates. It's a USB 2.0 hub, and we already had this in the store, but the one we had in the store had a normal USB port. This has a micro USB on the go port. If you're wondering, well, wait a minute, that's like the wrong connector. Why on earth would I want that? You would want that if you were connecting it to a tablet or to a Raspberry Pi Zero. Can you go to the Pi Zero photo? Yeah, thank you. So a Raspberry Pi Zero has a on-the-go connector, and also some tablets and other single-board computers might also use a micro USB on-the-go connector. So this makes it really handy. You plug it directly into a Pi Zero, and you get Ethernet and USB ports. And so this way, if you want to get started with your Pi Zero and you have a Pi Zero and you save money on it, but you want to like get it set up with internet and also like connect mouse, keyboard, and accessories, you can use this, get everything set up, and then of course disconnect it once you're done and use the single USB port. But it's just convenient because it's like plug and play, and it's completely natively supported by Linux as well as Mac and Windows, all that good stuff.
Okay. All right. Next up, this is kind of neat. This is one of my favorite new products.
This is definitely awesome. Okay. So somebody actually emailed us and said, hey, you should carry towered lights. And actually Phil and I were like, you're right, we should. These are really cool. I'd always kind of wanted them, but for some reason I never thought like, hey, let's get them in the store. And it's neat, we put them in like the LED category because we don't have a category for this kind of stuff. But these are the lights that are on also our equipment, basically, same thing. They're used for signaling indicators. They're basically like a stoplight, like a traffic light, but fully symmetric. And these have some other cool things in them. So they have red, yellow, and green LEDs, and I'll hold them up after we show this off. And there's also a hinge, so you can position it. Isn't this neat? So you can have it like folded or straight up or in any angle. So it spent a little bit more. Got the really nice ones.
Okay, so you want to show this on which
I'll actually just hold this up because it's, hold on, except I kind of unplugged everything by accident. 1 second. I had a little breadboard action going on here. So how this works, and I'll show on the overhead as well, but this is just a nice way to demo it. Red is one LED, yellow, other set of LEDs, and then green. And so you basically, show a mode. So like, Roberto in the show and tell was saying like, hey, I want to hook this up to my Jenkins or Travis, whatever. They're all named after people, I guess. Continuous integration software. So, when the build works, it lights up green, and then if there's a continuous integration issue or the build fails, it turns red. And so people usually use like traffic lights, but traffic lights are really, really big and kind of a pain. This is much more compact. They can also use it like, is your website down, or is somebody ringing the doorbell and you want to have like an indicator. So these are kind of fun things you can do. And then another thing that you can do that I will demo is there's a buzzer built into it. So really annoying if you want to have like the red light on and then it beeps, you can do that as well. So, you get 3 LEDs and annoying beeping, and then of course it's symmetric all the way around, so you can see the LED all the way around. And then the way it works is you have 5 wires coming out of it, and it's detailed on the product page, but basically you need a 12-volt power supply. It's a 12-volt device. You can gut it if you want, put LEDs if you really need 5 volts support. Connect the 12-volt wire to orange, and then ground the red wire, turn on the red LED, yellow to turn on the green LED, green to turn on the green LED, and then brown to turn on the buzzer. So it's pretty straightforward. Just use a bunch of transistors, and you can go to town. So yeah, it's kind of nice. You can put this on the wall. Indicator, make your own machinery.
Okay.
That's
all right, but there is more.
Not one to stop. I also decided to carry a simple one. This is basically identical, except it only has the red LED, the red indicator lens, and the buzzer. So it's smaller. The price isn't that much different. It's like they're kind of, I guess the cost is just in the plastic and the tooling. So it still hinges, same thing, 12 volt, lights up red. I didn't set up a demo for it. It only has 3 wires. It has a buzzer. Basically, if you only want to like alert when something happens and you don't want to have multiple different states, you can just grab this one. It's much smaller, much more compact. Put on your desk.
Okay. That's that. All right.
Yeah. So these are cool. I can't wait to see what people do with these. I think this is going to be useful because I went actually to McMaster Car because I was like, well, what can I get these from McMaster? And they're like $200. Like they're industrial scale, amazing hardcore ones.
I kind of believe this is the Internet of Things, hello world for hackathons.
Are you kidding? This is going to be on like Kickstarter in like 2 hours.
Well, what I think would be great is if you had like a classroom setting or a workshop, and everyone's using something like Adafruit.io, and whoever can cobble together their Internet of Things service to get the light to light up first, wins. And it doesn't matter how you do it; it just matters, doing it. And then the next one is, okay, I got that. Now make an interactive game of Simon, or do something else, or have it flash green 4 times.
Yeah.
So you could build on top of skills with that. So
Yeah,
anyways.
no, I think this is like a really awesome, fun toy, and it's easy to use and it's hard to break. So yeah, I mean, I definitely think every hackerspace should have one of these for something. Could also be used as bathroom occupancy sensor. All sorts of things you could use it for.
Yeah. All sorts of things your startup will try to solve. Okay.
Okay.
Next up.
Little header for feather wings. This is the matching part for the slim female socket header for feather wings. Basically, if you just want to have very cute, slim feather setups, we will have more feather wings in the store soon. We are designing them around the clock and manufacturing them. But this basically, you don't have to clip the headers, and they just make it very, very slim. Very compact.
Next up, we got a book. This is Make Bluetooth, and it features a lot of Adafruit stuff.
Yes, I mean, the cover is like everything manufactured at Adafruit. We manufacture the Arduino, we manufacture that NRF 8001 breakout. This is by Alistair Allen, Don Coleman, and Sandeep Mistry. Sandeep is also doing stuff with Arduino right now. 3 of the sharpest minds in the industry, and they've been working on this book for quite a long time, and we're happy to carry it. And not only do we carry it, but we now have a parts pack. They asked us, hey, can you carry a pack for this book? And we did.
Okay, so that's the book, and here's
this is the parts pack. So
what's in it?
You get a, you don't get an Arduino because I assume a lot of people will have that already. So pick up an Arduino if you don't have one. You get an NRF 8001 Bluetooth Low Energy module. You get, I think, a BME 280 temperature, humidity sensor. I don't think it does barometric pressure. I can't remember. Or maybe it's barometric pressure and temperature. I can't remember which one exactly, but it's a little sensor. You get a NeoPixel ring, you get MOSFET, you get switches, you get buttons, you get a rotary potentiometer, you get a power supply, and you also get a bunch of LEDs, resistors, and one of the projects is making a BLE door lock so that you could start your own Kickstarter campaign on a Bluetooth door lock. So it comes with a door lock type solenoid. You get that going, and a breadboard and some wires. So it's just, you basically get it 20-25% off if you buy the pack. You pick up the book, pick up an Arduino. You'll still need a couple of soldering tools and some other hand things, but you pretty much have everything you need to do nearly every project in the book.
Yeah, and I kind of like this the vibe that's been going on with these books. So we don't get to decide what Make writes about. These are what the authors that work with Make decide is the best, easiest way to teach people something like Bluetooth. And although we'd love to see all authors use our stuff because it's supported, there's code, some don't, but the really good ones do. So it's kind of a test. It's like when you look at the choices with books, the authors who don't make hardware want to pick the thing that they can teach their readers how to do this stuff the easiest, and also the most available, not just like random stuff from all different places. And so that was a pleasant surprise. Like we don't have anything to do with the process.
They kind of.
They're just like, hey, we did a book with your stuff.
I saw the cover and I'm like, whoa, okay, it's like using our stuff. And then we're happy to put in a parts pack because we have everything in stock. So thanks, folks. It's a great book too.
It's validation that we're doing a good job. Where just people randomly will tell us about a book that's already written that uses our stuff.
Yeah.
And they believe that we're going to be around long enough, and all of our stuff is really.
That's true.
It's not. We're not a a one-off company that just has one product only. We have 3,000 products.
And then I want to mention that this is a really good companion book to K-Town book. K-Town also wrote a book. Kevin Townsend, who designed the Bluetooth board that you see here. He wrote a book, but it's more about the underlying protocol. So this is a project book, and that's more of like more of an in-depth analysis book. So I actually suggest both. If you're interested in BLE, like these 2 books will teach you the underlying protocol, and then you'll get to actually build projects with it. So it's kind of good. You'll be like, what is a GAT? And then you're like, oh, hey, I'm building a project and modifying the GAT.
Okay.
It's all good.
Next up.
This is another accessory for the Pi Zero. It's basically just like the HDMI to VGA converter that you know and love that we've had in the store for quite a while. But this one comes with a mini HDMI connector on it, so you just plug it right into your Pi Zero. You don't need an adapter.
That's cool. Okay, and then last but not least, the star of the show, besides you.
Yay.
Maybe, I don't know. Is
I'm also the star.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Like this is
this is kind of cool.
This is a neat product. So
this is neat. This is a large chainable display. I actually got these quite a long time ago and then kind of forgot to put them in the store. It's a very large matrix display. We have RGB, so we have RGB displays. but they're a little bit challenging to use. What's nice about this one is you only need 4 or 5 pins. You don't need a ton of RAM. It's simple, but basically if you want to build your own like, Jenny Holzer display with like scrolling text, this is perfect. And there's a great library to use it too. So these are 2 of the displays chained together, and we have a lovely animation. It's only red and green, and then you can combine it to make yellow. As you can see, the heart, it goes red, green, yellow. So it's not going to be as colorful as the RGB LED matrices, but it's a heck of a lot easier to use. Like you can use this with any processor. It's just SPI bit bang, and they're really big. Like it's like if you want a display that can be seen from across the room, these are very large displays. But yeah, you can have little notes and dancing, and there's an Arduino library. So yeah, it's a fun little display. Combine this with the NeoPixels, and you can have all the lights.
Okay, and with that, Lady Ada, those new products. Congrats. Okay, that was it.
All right, thank you.
Good work. All right, don't forget, the code is Tower, 10% off all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern time tonight. That gets you off 10% on anything that we have in stock. And we are viewer supported, so if you like this type of show and this type of programming, vote with your dollars.
Pick up an LED tower.
Yeah, this is how we pay for everything. We have more lights, so.
Yeah, electricity bill.
Yeah.
Gotta pay it.
So let's open up the questions. Go ahead and post your questions in the chat. We'll speed round these. We'll get to them the best we can. Next, let's go to. First one, can you control the matrix with a feather?
Yeah, absolutely. Can use it with any Arduino compatible.
All right. Could you do animation from it on Scratch? Could you use Scratch to control it?
I think, yeah, you could. I mean, like the code's there. You can, these are little animated things. We just animated the little notes. But yeah, you just draw pixels. So yeah, people could absolutely do animation. You can do it from Scratch or from Scratch.
Okay, for the single light tower, is it only red or could you change it?
Well, it's, the lens itself is red. So actually the LEDs inside are white, right? So they're the white LEDs, and they light up red, but yeah, you're kind of stuck with red. I mean, you could 3D print a new lens, but it's kind of a pain. But I thought like red is the simplest, most likely, because it's a kind of an alert.
Okay, next up. Can the RTC wing be used to wake, sleep, and aid a logger to collect scheduled data over a long period of time? Very low power draw to extend battery life.
You could. There's an interrupt, but I don't know how to do it exactly. There is an interrupt pin available, and then you would tie that into the interrupt on the feather, but I don't know the code. I don't have the code to do that. I mean, basically what you'd want to do is just get the feather working with an external interrupt wake up to start, and then you'd have to program in the RTC to trigger that interrupt. But I guess you'd set up an alarm. I don't know exactly.
Okay, how to learn PCB layout design. I would say check out the Desk of Lady Ada. Also look at the EagleCAD book and resources out there. And specifically, there's the free version of Eagle, or you can also look at KiCad. Or
Fritzing does some PCB layout.
Yeah, that's where I would start.
There's tons of online tools. I mean, there's lots of. You're in luck, actually. This is a renaissance. This is a renaissance of free and online circuit board layout. It used to be very, very expensive. Now.
Yeah, like Arrow bought like 5 different companies for PCB layout. No, they did. Okay, next up, the 24 NeoPixel ring has dual ground and power. Do you need to connect both?
You don't. That's actually for your convenience, so that if you want to chain multiple rings or chain another NeoPixel or connect something else through it, you have multiple connections to ground. You don't need to use them.
Okay. All right. We're going to do more.
I'm ready to do more.
Yeah. Okay. Boy, there's a bunch. Okay, how to identify SPI pins on a chip if there's no datasheet online? I have a Wavetel LP1, maybe that's 10 amp probe.
Boy, the only thing you can do is you turn it on and then you just look at all the pads while it's connecting to something that does SPI, and then you could identify which one's clock for sure, and then you can probably also identify, chip select. That's going to be easy. Mostly MISO, I don't know, but then it doesn't necessarily mean you know how to get that data, but your clock is you're gonna see a fast 8-bit clock, and then chip select goes low. Maybe if it's connected to something else, debugging what those chips SPI pins are, then you can back connect to see what they would connect to.
Okay, next up, can you use an OLED display on a Flora?
You can. I would use an I2C OLED display. Just connect SDA, SCL, power and ground, and it should work. If it's one of our OLEDs, you'll have to solder it because no, it's not sewable.
Okay, next up, can the LED tower have 2 LEDs on at once and can it have different pitches for the buzzer?
The buzzer is a single pitch. When it's on, it makes that annoying sound. So you can't change the pitch. It has an oscillator inside. You can turn on the yellow and green at the same time, but I noticed that the red and yellow don't like to be on at the same time. I don't know what's up with that. I mean, I think these weren't designed to have more than one LED on at the same time. It looks like there might be something in parallel. It makes, like if red and yellow are on, yellow's really dim. So I'd say just stick to one LED on at a time.
Okay, next up, do you have any advice for in-home circuit board manufacturer? I'm currently using the photosensitive method.
It's the best method there is.
Yeah.
You can also look at PCB milling, but you have to invest in an expensive mill. I think, honestly, you're going to get better results with photoresist.
Okay. Next up, I'm using a Genuino Zero attached to a PN532 NFC shield. I've tweaked the code and the power and busy LEDs are lit. However, when reading from the serial, the PN532 NFC shield cannot be found.
Probably doesn't work. The PN532 shield uses I2C, and I think it uses clock stretching, and the Zero, I think, doesn't support it. So it may not be supported. The Zero is pretty new. We're still going through a lot of libraries and figuring out what works and what doesn't. So we know that shield works with the Leonardo and the Arduino Uno and Mega.
Okay. Next up, can a SMT connector be easily hacked onto the Adafruit Feather with Huzzah ESP 8266 Wi-Fi? I want to add an external Wi-Fi antenna to the project, so this is a UFL.
You can't really. It's an FCC certified module. Comes with the antenna built in. There are other ESP8266 modules that have a UFL antenna, but they're not FCC certified. So that's why we don't have them or use them. It would be nice if they got a module that was certified with a certain antenna, and then you could sell them as a pair. But yeah, unfortunately, the Huzzah, you kind of are stuck with the antenna you got. You might have to DIY your own project.
Okay, we got to like.
Whoa, there's
20,
a lot of questions.
Yeah, we got to like 20 questions. Let's see. How do you connect the 32U4 Feather to the SV 10538 audio codec with accelerometer as a sound trigger?
That's a whole project. I mean, you can post in the forums and we'll give you some hints, but you basically get the accelerometer working and then get the audio codec working and then get both of them working at the same time and then have them trigger. But it sounds like there's no easy answer for that. You just gotta do it.
Okay. I think. Are there RGBW dot stars on the way?
Why aren't there any? There just aren't. Like I said, It's like it depends on what the manufacturer makes. Right now, I'm pretty sure there are not. Are there? I don't think there are RGBW dot stars. You know what? I can't even remember anymore because there's so many LEDs. If there are, we have them in the store. I know there's white dot stars, but I really cannot remember. Maybe there aren't.
What's the difference between a PyTFT versus a composite out?
I actually did a video on this for the Hackaday I/O contest, all about video. So check out, it's from the desk of Lady Ada, and I have a whole video about composite versus PyTFT versus HDMI going for 40 minutes. So that'll definitely answer your question.
Okay, I'll generalize this one. How do you decide what would be a good pinout when designing the Feather system? Like, how did you decide what you wanted to do?
That's a good question. I didn't make mistakes in it, but I made decisions that I might regret later. Like I put the way I divided up the pins. But basically, you have to have the power pins. I wanted to have enable and reset. And then I was like, well, you want to have the main buses, I2C, SPI, and UART. And then I decided not to have explicit pins for I2S, for example, or CAN. And I decided, let's not have any overlap between the pins if possible. Only the ESP8266 does overlap. So there's trade-offs. Basically, I looked at, in parallel, the AtMega 32U4 and the AtSam D21, AtSam D21 G18, and what was available, what pins are available. And, I basically kind of pulled out everything I could. Like I need, I can't guarantee that the interrupts are all going to be on the same pins. Like they're it's completely different chipsets. The ESP8066, the STM32. We're going to have a bunch of different Feather platforms. So I'm going to have maybe something that's compatible with the Freescale TNC 3.2. So the best you can do is just say, look, here's your main buses, here's your power, and then here's GPIO, and the GPIO, it's like this is a free for all.
Okay. All right, those are the questions. I will answer one question that came up in a few different ways. So the way it works with Pi Zeros is there's not many on planet Earth. And when we get them in, we put them in stock, we notify people have signed up, and then people also come in and purchase them. We have a limit of 1 per customer. We have packs, and then we also have the standalone units, and we do the best we can. There's tens of thousands of people that are trying to get these. There's people that are trying to get these to sell them at higher prices on eBay.
Yeah.
So we do the best we can. If you look today, people were able to buy them, and then we sold through.
We definitely sold through a couple hundred at least today, and we put them in whenever we can. We are not hoarding them. We are not restricting them. We have to be able to put them in stock and sell them.
Yeah.
We notify people. They sell out very, very, very fast.
Yeah.
There's no other way to do it. As soon as we get them, we put them in the store. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's people on Twitter that are crummy to us, and there's people that send us crappy emails as if like we're trying to withhold them. When they're sold out, there's nothing more that we can do.
Yeah, I don't manufacture them as soon as I get them.
So we do the best we can. Maybe next time we won't do this because like a very small number of people are really mean. But for now, we're kind of just blowing it off.
Don't be jerky. I mean, we're not.
Yeah,
it's like yelling at us and blaming us is not going to get you a Pi Zero.
They're sold out. They're gone. I hate you. Like, well, there's
they're popular.
So,
you and 80,000 other people all tried to get to the site at the same time.
So, anyways, we're doing the best we can.
So
that's really it.
Yep. You can also go to.
If it were up to us, we would have tens of thousands of them. That would be more.
Yeah,
that would be more fun.
Like a lever, and they would just all.
That'd be way more fun than sorry they sold out for today.
Yeah. Check out Micro Centers also. Where's my Pi0.com or whatever you talked about that. Nobody on Earth keeps them in stock for more than 5 minutes. It's not just us. We're not doing anything.
There's a site that will show that it's out of stock on all sites.
All that site does is show that it's out of stock everywhere. But people do get them. We see projects. They are shipped out.
Yeah.
We're doing the best we can.
Okay, so that's it for tonight, Lady Ada. Let's do the trivia question.
Okay.
What are the rules?
Rules are if you've won anything before from the show, you can't win again. If you've been mean to us on Twitter about the Raspberry Pi Zero, you also aren't going to win anything. So come on, let's don't be jerky. The prize today is this lovely.
Oh, you're going to give away a tower?
It's the code. Okay. So Tower Light. I mean, this is so cool. Use this for your project. You can use this to indicate where the Pi Zeros are in stock. It's going to be red 99% of the time. Okay. This is the prize. First person to enter in the answer the way Phil wants to see it in the chat is the winner.
Okay, today's question is, in 1927, a famous German theoretical physicist sent a letter to fellow physicist Wolfgang Pauli in which he described the uncertainty principle for the first time. Who was this physicist
Who
from
came up with the
1927?
uncertainty principle?
Yeah.
Who came up with the uncertainty principle?
Yeah.
And remember, we want you to be certain about the answer.
It was not Albert Einstein, but that's a good guess.
Nice guess, but no, it was not Albert Einstein.
A cat? Nope. I'm going to go ahead and award it to Squee No Carrier in Twitch. It was a close one tonight, but Squee No Carrier, congrats. Congrats. You won. Email support@adafruit.com and tell them that
you won this Tower Light.
Yeah, you won a Tower Light. And the PID of the Tower Light is 2993. That helps the support team if you do that.
Yep. PID 2993. Tell them.
Yeah.
Email support@adafruit.com and you will win this. Congratulations. Squee No Carrier.
Yeah, good work.
Everybody else, you get another chance.
Okay. Yeah,
next week.
Tonight. Okay, that's the show for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone. Don't forget the code is Tower, 10% off all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. We are viewer supported. I was told to make sure to mention that because people are like, oh, is this some type of like internet startup that just does electronic video? It's like, no, this is what
Really?
we do.
Somebody asked that?
Yeah, and
That's
like,
cool.
no, this is what we do here.
Is
we
that
actually,
factory?
Yeah, we actually manufacture.
Here in Manhattan.
And what pays the bills is the orders. That's
Some
it.
of the things we manufactured, you even showed off today.
Yeah, and so we do the manufacturing here. So thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Be nice.
Yeah,
Be
well,
nice.
it's been a day.
It's been a day of people not being nice, so be nice.
Yeah, it's been a day. So we'll see everybody next week. 3D Hangouts is tomorrow. Desk of Lady 8 is later on during the week.
Tony DeCola is doing a live stream,
Yeah.
Twitch on Friday, so subscribe to Twitch.
Hit like and subscribe in all those good places and help get the word out to friends and family about this weirdo company with weirdos who run it. All right. You have your cat thing? Yeah. I mean, we are starting to just turn into comic book characters at this point. I mean,
Like you're standing up.
Yeah.
There you go.
like Jor-El, Superman's.
Well, you know what I want to
Cousin or
get? There's a
something.
woman here at the company who has a jacket, and I kid you not, it has the Killing Joke on it. It's a jacket with the Killing Joke, like all the panels, and then it has the cool, like the Joker right after he's in the vat of chemicals with his hair, and he goes ha ha ha, like it has it on the back. It's a cool jacket. So competition is high here
Yeah.
for cool jackets.
Okay. We'll see everyone. Thank you so much, especially the nice folks in the chat.
Thanks, nice folks.
You make this the best hour and a half of the week
Yeah.
for us.
This is kind of nice.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a picture of a cat. Yeah. MOSFET's on Desk of Lady Ada, so you should tune in.
Yep. You want to see him live? I hold him up.
And here is your moment of Zener.